Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'll be taking a look at yet another Urban Armor Gear case. If you've kept up with my channel for any amount of time, you know that I love these cases. But yeah, this is the Cobalt version for the iPhone 6s and iPhone 6. I already took it out of the packaging here, but if you want to see what the packaging looks like, I have the 6s Plus and iPhone 6 Plus version here. So if you're interested in the packaging for some reason, that's what it looks like. It's just a standard plastic packaging. You pull a little tray with a case in it and you're good to go. The case is literally the only thing in the packaging. I think they used to come with like screen protectors or a thank you or something, but the case is literally the only thing in the packaging. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice and simple, but yeah. Anyway, as you can see, the case is like slightly see-through like this. It is a nice light blue color. In my opinion, I really like the color, so it will like show off the back of the iPhone still. But it will add the blue tint to it, of course, which is nice. I've reviewed the ash version as well as another clear version. Those are both two like semi-transparent cases from Urban Armor Gear, so if you're interested in either of those, one's clear and one's like a dark gray, so you can go check this out on my channel. But yeah, anyway, like I said, these are my favorite cases for the iPhone 6. As a reviewer on YouTube, I've gone through hundreds of iPhone cases and I've always used these. I've like almost wanted to use a different case just because I've stuck with Urban Armor Gear for like the last 3 years, and I've almost wanted to use a different case just to try something different, but every single time I've taken off the other case and put this one back on because these Urban Armor Gear cases are so functional and they look really good and they feel really good. Everything about them is just excellent. However, I've mentioned this last time, every Urban Armor Gear case I've had is broken after like a year. Urban Armor Gear, however, did contact me when I said this in my last video, and they actually sent me a replacement. So apparently Urban Armor Gear cases do have a 1-year warranty, so each of mine have broken after 1 year, but at the same time you can just contact them and they'll send you a brand new one, which will be really, really nice because then you'll have a brand new case. Or you can just deal with the broken case because it's not really broken, like sometimes each time it's like cracked here or something like that. Hasn't been anything that's really affected the looks or functionality or anything, and despite them breaking after a year or so, I would totally still pay the $35 for this case just because that everything about it is excellent. I would rather have an Urban Armor Gear case and have to buy a new one each month than have a different brand of case just because I really like them this much. But yeah, anyway, we'll go ahead and install the case here. It is very simple. It's a simple one-piece case. Nothing too fancy with that. It's not like a two-piece case or anything like that. It's just one piece. You simply slide your phone in like this and then snap it in on both sides like that, and the case is installed. That's really all it is to it. So if we flip the phone over here, you can see what the Cobalt case looks like on the silver iPhone 6s. One thing that I will show you in a second is that this is much better made for the iPhone 6 than the 6s, but we'll just get into that in a second. So this is just what the back of the case looks like. They do have fake little rubber divots here just for looks, and they have a nice little design here that is consistent on every composite Urban Armor Gear case. And then if you look around the camera here, we do have a very nice raised up portion, so if you were to set the phone on a table or something like that while it's in this case, your camera lens won't get scratched or anything like that, which is always a good thing because nobody likes scratched camera lenses, and so it's nice that it's raised up against that. And then on each corner here, if I can focus this properly, each corner is also raised up, so it won't actually like scratch the back of the case or anything like that even. So we do have these raised up portions on each corner, so if you were to set your phone down or something like that, the little rubber portions will get wear, not the actual case, and let alone your phone. One thing that I've always kind of wanted out of Urban Armor cases is for them to do something with the Apple logo. They have this little plastic hole here. I think this is just so your phone doesn't get like suctioned to the actual case, but it'd be nice if they just somehow did something with the Apple logo. They do kind of ignore it here, so the cutout does go over the Apple logo a little bit, but doesn't it's not big enough to like leave space for the entire Apple logo or anything like that. So it doesn't look like the Apple logo was really in mind while designing this case, which is a little unfortunate because I really do like cases that do that. However, it doesn't look bad or anything like that. And with this semi see-through case, you can still see the Apple logo, but on the other composite cases, the Apple logo is basically completely covered, which is a little annoying. It'd be nice if they had like one hole here for the Apple logo, and the other hole here is lower for the iPhone logo, which would be a cool design, but at the same time, it's not a huge deal. What I was talking about earlier, how this is slightly better designed for the iPhone 6, is because of the bottom here. So the 6s is a little bit thicker than the iPhone 6, as many people know, and so that makes the ports on the iPhone 6s not perfectly centered with the cutouts on the case. So as you can see, the lightning port is a little bit higher than it should be, the headphone jack is a little bit higher than it should be, and the speakers are almost halfway covered by the case itself. So it's not a huge deal. Like, you can definitely still charge your phone and everything like that. See if I can zoom in any further. Yeah, you definitely still charge your phone and everything like that. It's not like the case is going to get in the way, but slightly larger chargers and things like that, you may have problems with it just because the case actually might get in the way. Same with the headphone jack and the speaker. I haven't really noticed any difference in audio quality or anything like that because I've been using a different composite case from the iPhone 6s since the iPhone 6s came out, and I haven't really had any problems with charging or anything like that, but it is a little annoying that the cutouts aren't perfectly aligned for the iPhone 6s. I personally think it would make sense if Urban Armor Gear and every phone case manufacturer made cases for the iPhone 6 and 6s. However, that is not the case. They just sell the cases for the iPhone 6 and 6s, and that makes the iPhone 6 cutouts perfect, but then the iPhone 6s is just a little bit off. Not big enough to cause a huge problem, but it's big enough that it can be a little annoying at times. So I've kind of already talked about protection, but we'll go into it a little bit more. Each of the corners have rubber on them, so it's reinforced for drops and everything like that. So if you were to drop your phone like this, of course it would hit a corner, and in that corner all the shock is absorbed into the case rather than into your phone, so your screen should be perfectly fine in this case, just because it's really protective without being bulky or anything like that, which is really something that is very nice to see in a case. So yeah, each of the corners do have reinforced rubber pads on them, so it should absorb most of this shock if you were to drop your phone and it were to hit a corner. We also have a nice lay on the table design here, meaning that if you are to lay your phone on down, like let's say you lay it on it has to be a flat surface obviously, but if you were to lay it down on something and drag it across or something like that, the table will be making contact with your phone's case rather than the actual phone. I do have a glass screen protector on here, which is a lot thicker than the actual iPhone screen, so you can't really see how much the case is raised up from the phone screen, but it is still raised up even with the glass screen protector. So if you didn't have a glass screen protector, your screen would be well protected from scratches and things like that if you are laying your phone on the table and whatnot, which is always nice to see. You never really want a case that just comes up to your phone screen because then your phone isn't very well protected. Another thing that aids with protection is the grips on the side here. Let's see if you can see these here. On each side of the case they have these little ridges here, and these just help with gripping your phone and whatnot. So while drop protection is always a good thing, it's even better if you're not going to drop your phone at all, and these little ridges will help with that. So there are 4 of them. There's one on this side, there's one up here by the sleep wake button, there's one over here by the volume rocker, and then there's another one down here on the opposite side is from the other one. So just like generally holding your phone and whatnot, you do have these little ridges definitely helping you and preventing you from dropping your phone. So even if your hands aren't slippery or something, like if these ridges weren't here, this would be a pretty slippery case, and so you'd be more likely to drop your phone. However, it'd still be fine because it's in this case, but because of the little ridges, you're definitely less likely to drop your phone, which is nice. And one of the nicest things about Urban Armor Gear cases, which I'll get into now, is the overlays for the sleep wake and volume rocker. Rather than just having like a solid piece of rubber or a piece of plastic or leaving them bare or something like that, they have this little cutout here. So it's like a little piece of rubber, but the rubber isn't attached on all sides. I'll grab a different Urban Armor Gear case to kind of show you this on camera. So if you look here, the rubber piece isn't totally connected to the case. It's connected on 3 sides, of course, but on the 4th side it's actually open, and this makes it much easier to push. So you can kind of push like this and whatnot, and you just see how the sleep wake button works. This is the same for the volume rocker. So if we look over here, it is just connected on 3 of the 4 sides. This just makes it much easier to push while still providing scratch protection and everything like that. So while the actual button is still covered, in my opinion, it actually feels better than the actual button because you have this nice little rubber grip on here. So say your phone's in your pocket or something and you're feeling around for the sleep wake button, these little ridges will definitely help you with that. And then actually pushing the button doesn't feel worse than the actual iPhone's button. So it does feel exactly like the actual iPhone button, but with a little added rubber grip and texture to it, which in my opinion is a great thing. Other than probably the look of the case, the design of the sleep wake button and volume rocker is probably my favorite thing about Urban Armor Gear cases. Just how they feel is so much like the actual iPhone's buttons, and it's just unreal, and I love it. This is the sleep wake button, of course, and like I said, the volume rocker is the same way. It is textured differently than the sleep wake button, so you can make sure you're feeling it properly in your pocket and everything like that. It does have that same feel to it. It's not like a hard mushy button or anything like that. It just feels like the actual iPhone's button with a little added texture, which is very nice. So this has been my review of the Urban Armor Gear Cobalt case for the iPhone 6 and 6s. These are definitely my favorite cases for the iPhone 6. If you are interested in purchasing this product, of course the link will be in the description, as it always is. If you aren't too keen on this blue color but like the design of the Urban Armor cases, they have a bunch of other cases. Here's the ash color here. They also have a clear one called a Maverick. They have like an Arrow series, which I can't remember which color it is. There's white and orange and pink and a bunch of different colors. So if you like the design of the case but don't like the color necessarily, you can go on Urban Armor Gear's website and find a different color case, because they do have this exacting case in a bunch of different colors, which is nice because it will apply to a lot more people. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then a like rating is always appreciated. If you'd like to see more videos similar to this one, then feel free to subscribe. This has been Jordan for Jolt Reviews. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next review.